Other interesting cultural news, you have a 12-year-old beating a tyrannical school, getting 12 million views in 2 days. He had the audacity to be a patriot and wear the Gadsden flag on his backpack. Now this takes place in Colorado, and Connor, an honor roll student, got called into the office to talk to the teachers, and his parents got called to the school because he had a flag. Now this would never happen if it was a LGBT flag. Those are in the classrooms. Those society is okay with, apparently. But having the Gadsden flag, which again has rich historical roots, that is what gets you in trouble in the United States. Being patriotic these days is what gets you in trouble. Which is pretty, in terms of public schools, I'm not surprised. It's also the same places where they don't even say the Pledge of Allegiance. They don't have American flags in some of these public schools. They have those other flags, but not American flags, interestingly enough. So thankfully this mother recorded this conversation so you can actually hear these morons, school, public sector, address the situation. And I can't help but, you can't help but think, the kid's definitely conservative, because I would guess because he's got a clean haircut, he's got a button-up shirt, a button-up long-sleeve shirt, it's a dress shirt, got clean jeans, he's got a nice brown leather belt, and he's got the best shoes on the planet, New Balance. I think I'm on my 17th or 18th pair of the New Balance 990s. Phenomenal, made in America, as I was about to say they all should. Very, very, very few are. That's kind of one of the unique things about them. But without further ado, play the video.
You know what the Gadsden flag is? That it's a historical flag. So the reason that they do not want the flag, the reason we do not want the flag displayed, is due to its origins with the slavery and slave trade.
Now, of course, as you would guess, the teacher's a radical leftist, as we'll show with evidence later in the video as well. But that symbol has nothing to do with that flag has nothing to do with any racist connotations. It literally says, "Don't tread on me."
That is what was.
And the same people who are so this has nothing to do with racism, but the same people who say you should erase everything modern that has anything to do with anything old that was bad. Well, what about Planned Parenthood? That was started by a eugenicist who was racist against the African American community. She put Margaret, what was that gal's name? The founder of Planned Parenthood put those institutions in poor black communities intentionally. She was horribly racist, but they still love that institution regardless of its dark, morally vacuous past. Interesting.
That's the reasoning behind it. No, the Gadsden flag. The "Don't tread on me." Okay. Which is the Gadsden flag. Okay.
This teacher looks like the Karen.
So what's going to happen if he doesn't take it off? He is able to go. I was actually just telling him, I was upset that he was missing so much school. I'm like, so I asked if, can he just take his stuff out of his bag and go back to class? I just want him to go back to class. The bag can't go back.
Remember, they would never do this to someone with the pride flag, or what's the new one called, the progress flag? No, that person would be a hero if they would have that on their backpack.
It's got a patch on it, because we can't have that in and around other kids. So that's what I was trying, and then he said you were close. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with slavery. That's like the Revolutionary War patch that was displayed when they were fighting the British.
A plus.
That's the revolution. Maybe you're thinking.
A plus to this patriotic parent who actually knows the historical provenance behind that flag. Oh, it's one of those things where facts and logic kind of just wash over some people. And this teacher, I say teacher because in title only, I highly doubt she actually teaches anything besides political ideology. She's just sitting there with a blank stare. Just the facts and logic just wash off her like deodorant, probably.
Confederate flag?
Okay, I am just here I am here to enforce the policy that was provided.
Just following orders, a cliche as old as time.
By the district. And definitely you have every right to not agree with it.
Absolutely. The ACLU says that he's allowed to wear that. If you go on their website, it's says in big.
So
Mama Bear's rockin'. She did some research.
all I'm saying is that
ban on patches, period? Like if you said there's no patches allowed at the school, you cannot display what you think or anything like that.
The resting bitch face, or the RBF of this morally vacuous teacher is, ooh, highly disturbing.
Or what cheer or anything like that. I think it's like one-sided, you know, because
It always is.
you allow some patches but not other patches.
Kids have patches like on their names and like the American flag and backpacks.
Yeah. That was like flown during the revolution, but yeah, I just don't understand that at all.
So what I can do is
And
have
if you go onto the ACLU's website, yeah, let's talk to
I
someone.
can
don't
have
know
you speak
lawsuits,
to
I really don't.
I can have you speak to Jeff Yoakum
Okay.
again,
Okay.
and then he can refer you to our person at the district,
Okay.
because like I said, we're following district policy.
Just following orders.
So the last thing I want is him out of class.
Yeah, I know,
That's
me too.
all.
He
The last
takes
thing
the
I want.
No. She just wants to bully this kid because he's different.
This seriously, he studies, he wants to get straight A's, he did that, he made honor roll when he was here before.
Yep.
He intends to do that again right now, but it's hard because he keeps missing class for this. So,
I understand that.
yeah, and I mean, we teach him to always stick up for your beliefs, and I mean, you're going over the revolution for 7th grade. I mean, the founding fathers stood up for what they believed in against unjust laws. This is unjust.
Okay. Like I said, we're upholding a policy that was provided to us, which we have to uphold.
Okay. Can you show me where the policy?
Mama Bear did some research, came guns loaded. Now, Connor Boyack did a great coverage of this issue. He said, quote, "They say the USEEOC, which admitted that the flag, quote, originated in the Revolutionary War and is non-racial and war in a non-racial context. But then, quote, however, whatever the origins and meanings of the symbol, it has also been seen sometimes interpreted to convey radically entangled messages." They say, "Mr. Rodriguez, as discussed, I'll provide you the rationale for determining the Gadsden flag is considered an unacceptable symbol. First case when the EEOC required the complaint to be reviewed. Now, the director then argued that the flag is associated with, quote, hate groups, linking this weak article that cites a, quote, graphic design scholar who claimed that some may see the Gadsden flag as a symbol of intolerance or hate or even racism." Now, the kid actually had the idea of going to NBC, which is a local affiliate, which used to actually care about news and, actually helping the communities out, giving a voice to folks. And of course, they declined an interview because it goes against the narrative. Now, Connor Boyack says, "See what rule he was actually breaking. According to the director, this is the one. And it's the one that, quote, refers to drugs, tobacco, alcohol, or weapons. But none of those things are on the flag." And it looks like Jeff Yoakum looks like he's the director. And let me see here. It looks like he said the day later we won. Yesterday the student returned with the patch still visible on his backpack. Following the district's direction, Vanguard administrators pulled the student aside so that they could speak with the parents of the district. Upon learning of these events today, the Vanguard School Board of Directors called for an emergency meeting from Vanguard's founding and have proudly supported our Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the ordered liberty for all Americans have enjoyed for 250 years. The Vanguard School recognizes the historical significance of the Gadsden flag and its place in history. This incident is an occasion for us to reaffirm our deep commitment to classical education and support the American principles. At this time, the Vanguard School Board and the district have informed the student's family that he may attend school with the Gadsden flag on his backpack." So a rare win for freedom of speech as well as patriots. A flag that shouldn't offend anyone. And it is somewhat refreshing to see most of the comments all overwhelmingly positive. Everyone's saying, good for kid for standing up what he believes in. Good for him. There's no one saying, kudos to him. I hope they sue the school into oblivion. Now, interestingly enough, the student stopped, and it was a perfect meme where he actually goes outside and he goes and looks at the teacher's car. And of course, it's a Mitsubishi POS. And it is covered with leftist bumper stickers. And you shouldn't be too surprised. The people who cry out for the most censorship are usually the most morally and intelligently, or morally vacuous and mentally vacuous of all society. The only way their ideals can brood to the surface is for them to get rid of the competition, for them to literally shut down all opposition or all thought at all, really. So it is refreshing to see him win this, and I hope we see more instances where people actually know how to read a damn history book, which, again, I know public schools are at an all-time low for math scores, science scores, history scores. So hopefully those improve without the years, but this is yet again reason 9,558,223 to not have your kid in public school. They seem to always discriminate in one direction. And I don't see them getting better anytime soon. They spend more in public school every single year, but the test scores go down every single year. And they're not, at this point, they're nothing more, in many cases, not all, but to be an indoctrinational vessel for the schools to pump their ideas into them, which are usually all morally, mentally vacuous, to say the least. Telling them they need a bigger government, telling them they need to go to college to be successful, which is, teachers supporting teachers. And no, I know more successful millionaires who don't even have a high school diploma than people who went to college and are still paying off debts. Needless to say, I'm glad he's able to get this hammered out, but perhaps he's a good example of too cool for school, because, well, the bar for her intelligence, the teachers, were really almost so low it's almost underground, but he actually has a better common grasp on American history and integrity than she ever will. But I always say, time shall tell. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in again. Again, we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of September. Actually, 4,000 if we really swing it. So I really appreciate you clicking that button. Also, taking the time to like and comment helps me out. Appreciate the feedback and insight you have with these topics. Love to hear about your experiences. Also, and lastly, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.